Good morning, Danny Duvall.
Good morning.
How you doing, man?
I'm doing great.
You look great.
It's very nice of you to say. I appreciate nice compliments.
You look great today, too.
Oh, thank you. Good morning. I look better than I sound.
Well, nothing wrong with raspy.
Yeah, so I'm a little raspy. So I'm going to do some talking, but I'm going to let you do a lot of the talking today.
Wow, that's trouble.
Yeah, write that down. It doesn't happen.
Wow.
Danny Duvall, thank you for coming today.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
Fellow realtor.
Yep.
We go back a long way. Do you remember the first time we met?
I mean, it had to be Northwood.
Yes, it was.
Yep.
I was managing the mentoring department at the time.
I think I was scared of you too.
I knew your dad first.
Yeah.
He came in and it was like the Duvalls.
Yeah.
And it was senior and junior behind the scenes for us to identify you. And your dad got his license.
Yeah.
And then you came along and you were super young.
I was.
And cocky.
Yeah. 19.
Why were you scared of me?
I don't know. You just had that like vibe to you that you were like about to yell at me if I did something wrong.
It's like, listen up, young man.
Yeah. Yep.
You do this.
Yeah. I'm like, don't mess up. It's going to get on you. But also like John was there too. I think John Eaton.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, those were some really great real estate years.
Yeah.
So that's how you launched. You came in, you got your license because your dad did tell us about that.
Yeah. So my dad actually got his license after me. I talked him into it because I'm like, you know what, Dad, you're a great salesperson. But he didn't know how to use a computer. So like
Maybe that's a good thing.
Yeah, I know. So he got in the business and he just went right into it. And he was like, I like showing houses and going to listings, but I don't know how to write a contract. I don't know how to go on the MLS. I'm like, okay, well, I need you to learn how to use a computer. So I tried teaching him and it just didn't work out. And he only was in the business for maybe like 3 or 4 months and then he gave it up. But even myself, I started taking my classes at 18. I was going to, I think YSU at the time, and I ended up getting licensed at 19. I just remember like going into this industry and like seeing all these agents, and I'm like, okay, they're a little bit older than I am, and they have all this experience. I'm like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do this. I had like doubt right from the start. I think my first year, I think I did 3 deals.
That's actually pretty great.
Yeah.
What was your expectation going in?
Go in there and make millions.
Were you watching TV? Like, where did you get that?
HGTV. It was burned in the corner of my TV. Literally, it was.
Like, I get my license and the commission's $175,000.
No, I was thinking like $1 million. You know, I would make hopefully 3% of that and then be running with that money. And I remember watching like House Hunters. I'm like, oh, this is easy. 3 houses and that's it. I learned quickly.
Yeah. So, and then you went to another brokerage, I think.
Yeah, I went to Keller Williams. And, you know, it was a weird experience because I don't think I was, like, I knew what I was doing, but some brokerages are for more experienced agents. Mm-hmm. And I think going to Northwood at the time was more of like a training, and it allowed me to like kind of understand and take a step back, understanding contracts, how to operate as an agent. And I just jumped over to Keller Williams like, I got this, let's go. And I was only there for a little bit. I mean, literally, I think I was licensed for about, well, I was still licensed, but I was only there for about 1.5 years. And then I decided to finish school. And that's when I went to YSU and graduated with my marketing management degree. And I kind of jumped around after that and I got back in the business.
Yeah, when you disappeared for a little while.
I did.
And then you came back. And I was like, I know this guy, Danny Duvall. He's all grown up now.
I know, yeah. I just grew a thicker beard, gained a little weight.
Where'd you go?
Back to YSU, and I was like roofing at the time. Like my father-in-law was like, none of his daughter's boyfriends, husbands never worked for him. And I'm like, I'm going to be the favorite. So I went on that roof and I started doing commercial roofing, a little bit of shingles. And honestly, it was a game changer for my rest of my life. Bruce Hinkle to this day, I love the man. He taught me everything because I didn't really know how to do any kind of trade, and he showed me everything, and that allowed me to, you know, advance my career as a business professional because he ran his own commercial roofing company, but also understanding how to flip houses and, you know, just traditional, like just plumbing and electrical and just rehab itself was honestly a blessing.
So isn't it interesting when you make these decisions, you know, you turn right on a road, you turn left on a road, you think about all these things that happened because of that decision. And if you just trace that back, that's a pretty interesting story. I did not know that about you.
Yeah. It's a crazy pivot, you know, thinking that I'm going to be like in this office job, like going to school at YSU, like, what am I going to do? I'm going to work corporate, work my way up the ladder.
So it was 19.
You put real estate on the back burner?
I did, yeah. But
you kept your license active?
Yeah. I literally, I remember I needed to do my 30 hours of continuing education, and it was like 2 days left, and I was in my office. I was actually selling water treatment for Culligan. I'm sitting in my office, and I'm like, my boss is had an office near me, and I'm doing my continuing education. I flew through it, and I'm like, okay, I'm just going to keep my license. And luckily, 2 months later, I got back in the business after that.
Thank God that you did that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because if you let it lapse, you have to start all over again. Pre-licensing, pass the test.
Miserable.
Yeah, you have to do it all over again.
Yeah.
And then when you're out of the business, it's like starting over.
It is. Yeah. You literally have to start completely over. And I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
So I have a question.
Yeah.
I just heard 3 different things.
Yeah.
Real estate, 19.
Yeah.
Got your license.
Yeah.
And the way your motor works, and I do know how that works.
Yeah.
You're mile a minute.
I am.
Then you went into roofing.
Yep.
And I may not be doing that in order. And then you started doing water softener, water treatment.
Yeah.
For Culligan.
And also I had my own business too. Me and my buddy started a window cleaning business and power washing, gutter cleaning, gutter guard.
Yeah.
So we were doing that and roofing. I mean, he helped me with roofing with Bruce, and then also selling water treatment all at the same time.
So that's 4 businesses. That's for 4 different outlets for you in terms of ways that you're making money.
Yeah.
Just distracted.
Yeah.
Maybe that's the definition of an entrepreneur. You get bored with one thing, you start something else, right?
Yeah.
Although that's not technically the definition.
It is, yeah.
What forced you back into real estate?
So I'm camping one day, and this random guy.
Did you own the campground too?
I want to own a campground.
Not yet.
Yeah. Give me I want a mobile park,
Yeah.
Yeah, that's where you make a lot of money.
I think it's called a manufactured housing community.
Yeah, right. That's it. That sounds more professional, I guess. Or trailer park.
Yeah.
No, estates.
Sorry, estates. Yeah.
Yeah.
Estates.
No, great investment though.
Yeah.
You can do a whole spot on that.
So I'm camping, and I get this random message. I think it was LinkedIn, and it's a guy named Roland Gosney, and he texted me or messaged me and was like, "Hey, I see you have real estate in your resume," and I didn't even know I had a resume on LinkedIn. I must have put it in there just out of curiosity. And he was like, I want to meet with you. So I met with him, and I'll thank Roland to this day for getting me back in the business and showing me some.
When was that? Approximately.
Pretty hardcore for 7 years when I was 24.
Okay.
Yeah, so 7 years ago, and maybe 8, I don't know. But he was like, hey, I want you to be my team lead, and I'm like, I don't have that experience. That's not on my resume. I'm pretty sure it was selling water treatment and my own business, and he had faith in me to do that. And when I went there, I got back in the business of understanding a team structure, and it wasn't the most organized team structure, but it allowed me to understand what kind of organization that I want in my business and with my team. And I worked for him for a while, and I think what I realized was the 1 year that I worked for him, I did 104 transactions. The team itself did 325 transactions.
That's a lot.
Well, I was getting leads from him, but I realized what I didn't realize when I first started was I didn't have the business, the book of business. And I did 47 of those 104 transactions were my personal leads. Mm-hmm. So then I broke down the numbers. I said, I'm working so much harder. I'm training agents for somebody else. Well, let me do my own thing. And that's when I randomly was looking up brokerages. I was looking at Keller Williams. I was looking at other brokerages, and I saw this random brokerage. I'm like, EXP, what the heck is this? I'm like, I hated the logo, hated the colors. I liked the idea. And then I'm like, not ever. There's only 8,000 agents. I'm like, I'm jumping on this ship. And I jumped over there. And then that's when I was working on my own, just as an individual agent. And I decided maybe a team might be the route to take. So that's the direction I kind of shifted to.
So you did that,
Yeah.
EXP, and you created a brand in Northeast Ohio,
Yeah.
EXP, especially in Hubbard, Ohio.
Yep.
And so how did you land Connie?
Connie is my bread and butter.
She's a rock star.
She is.
I know that term is
Who's
overused.
Connie?
Connie Tar. Yeah.
Connie Tar. She is.
She's great.
She is. She is everything that I ever wanted for as an assistant, a second mother, a best friend. But she is my admin, and she has elevated my business completely. And she's a little bit older, so I'm nervous because I don't want her to say one day like, hey, I'm done.
Time to hang it up.
And I'll sit there and I'll cry and I'll really like have to think about what my next move would be. But Connie, she randomly was working at, I think, Keller Williams at the time, and we were doing a deal, and I'm like, Connie, you and I are so good together. And she's like, I know. And she's like, I really don't even want to sell real estate. I just kind of want to do paperwork. I said, you're hired. She's like, what? I'm like, you're hired. You're going to come work for me. And she finally, she was like, okay. And ever since then, she does everything. I mean, she organized my emails. I had 110,000 emails. Like, I never organized anything. I never deleted anything. And
was that a combination of Culligan and the roofing company too?
My personal, like it masked my personal. So I have like all my bets and everything. She knows what I eat for, like if I get a DoorDash, she's like, oh, how was that meal last night? And I'm like, oh, stop doing that. But yeah, she organized it completely.
I'm hearing the book, Who Not How.
Yeah.
Who Not How. The importance of putting people in the right place.
Yeah.
So I've said this for years on my real estate team. With a couple of the positions that we have, if I were to swap some of the girls in their roles in the administration position, they would each fail independently.
Yeah.
Because they're so good at what they do. You have to put people in the place where they can thrive.
Yeah.
And it's not always the person that's failing, it's the position that they're in.
Yeah. And that's their motivation. That's their, like, if you put people that they're not supposed to be in, they start collapsing and it starts reflecting on yourself. And like, I read, like, I don't finish books. I'm terrible at it. I'll start a book and I just like get like a couple chapters in, but I learn. I mean, I'm a sponge. I like absorbing like as much information as I can. And I ask other team leaders like what they did and where to put people. And you're right. Like if I switched anything out, it'd be like,
some people would fail and they're amazing at where they are. So the who, not how, and putting people in the right role is a big deal.
Yeah.
So I wanted to talk and transition to your flipping, secondary income, rental business, investing in real estate.
Yep.
Did I get you do a lot? You have more than one income stream from real estate.
Yeah.
Tell us about what else you do.
So we used to flip houses a little bit more consistently, and we kind of reverted our business model because I do like holding on to properties. I like the rental income. I realized I was getting destroyed on capital gains, and I'm like, okay, let's not flip the house. Let's keep the house. Oh, let's buy the house, remodel it, rent it out. Kind of like the Burr method. But we have, I think it's 7 single families. We have 3 duplexes, and then we have 1 5-plex.
Tell me more about you got burned on capital gains.
Yeah. When you're making so much money and then you
so much money on the flip.
Yeah. So much money on the flip. When you have a certain amount of money that you're making on it and it's tax time, obviously we got to save some money, and we try different methods of moving that money elsewhere. So whether it's a 1031 exchange, buying another property, avoiding the capital gains, which I didn't know all this stuff at first. I just kind of had to educate myself, and I'm always learning, I'm failing, but I'm succeeding, but failing, and I'm going to keep messing up. But,
fail forward.
That's right. Yeah. So we kind of, we decided like, instead of like making a $30,000 profit and potentially losing about, $8,000 in taxes, well, I mean, I don't want to lose $8,000. I just put all my time and effort into that flip. And we were doing a couple a year. We're doing like 3 to 4, which we're doing a lot of work ourselves. I mean, I have contractors subcontracting a lot of stuff out, but we decided to do the rental routes. After one of our houses, we bought it for, I mean, you're going to laugh at this. We bought a $5,000 house.
Wow.
Yeah. From Trumbull Land Bank. And, it was destroyed. I mean, it was gross. And
it's like the one where you couldn't see the front of it.
No, that's Service Street. That was on the demo list. But Thornton was our first rental, and it had a septic, so it was obviously a little bit more money, but we dropped like $50,000. But we paid $5,000. So we were all in at $5,500. And I had this guy that really needed to play. So we were like, okay, let's just try rental. And we did $800 a month. And I mean, it was doing really well. And we've owned it for like 3 years now. And I realized like, you put the $55,000 in the initial investment, and I don't need the $55,000. If I do, I can do a cash out refi, or continue to rent it, make that money, pay back myself over a span of years, and then continue to hold on to this property, increase rent, and use that as a stream of income. So our mindset was, okay, when I'm 40, I'm 31 right now. When I'm 40, I want to have 50 doors. That's what I said, 50 doors. Well, I'm at 18 doors right now, and I did it in a span of 2.5 years. And I'm like, okay, that 50 door mark is going to be, we're going to exceed that.
Yeah, you're just going to blow the roof off.
Yeah. And then my accountant at the end of the last year, he's like, you're not buying a single house. And I bought 3 houses this week.
Yeah. Well, once you get some traction, then it's easier.
Yeah.
It's like a train on the tracks. Go slow, slow, slow. And then what do they say? Growth is
incremental, and then it's exponential.
Yeah. I was going to say it happens gradually and then suddenly. Thank you.
Yeah. And like having 18 doors and having all those streams of income, or having all those properties giving us a check every single month, it's great. But like I always tell people, you should have rental properties. But like our experience, like we bought some houses and then the furnace goes, and then we're doing a roof, and then we're doing an electrical panel, and then there's water in the basement. So we're constantly putting more money into it. But what I always tell people, don't consider that income. Make that property and bring it to par where for the next 10, 15 years, you're not going to have those problems. The tenant's going to be happy there. They're going to pay rent every single time. Hopefully they pay rent. I don't know if you went through an eviction. I have.
Oh yeah, they're fun.
They're great. And obviously the court, I mean, it's in the tenant's favor typically. Sure. So then once you file the eviction, then it takes 2 months to go to court, and I still haven't collected
Not
rent.
a fun process. But what I heard you say is you're flipping the house and then holding it.
Yeah.
It's just not a flip and sell.
Yeah.
So go back to you get slammed with capital gains. What do you wish you would have known, or what could someone have told you?
I guess I should have asked for more advice going into it. I just kind of winged it. I'm like, I know what I'm doing. And
There's the Danny Duval I know.
Yeah. I got this. I don't need help. But no, I think my accountant, I mean, Chris, he did an amazing job with like explaining it to me of, hold back a little bit. You don't need this money right now. And I don't need that money right now. It's more of like the long-term thing of, if I can get so much money per year with that stream, I could still do my work. Or if I want to ease up on my work or not have a team and kind of enjoy my life a little bit, I can pump the brakes and just enjoy life. Because right now I am full throttle and I don't want to stop. I have 2 kids, but that's more important to me now as they're growing, and I'm starting to see like I need more time with my family and kids.
That's right.
So those rental properties, that's why we decided to hold them, because now we have this extra money that really what we're doing. I'll backtrack a little bit. Sorry, I'm kind of jumping around a little bit.
You're good.
We're using that extra money and we're not considering it as usable income. We're taking the properties that we have mortgages on, because I maxed out my Fannie Mae account.
Limit.
Limit.
You have 10 loans.
Yeah. I have 7. Something with my
You
credit.
do 10 now.
Yeah. Some of my credit score, there's some that allows me only have 7.
It sounds like he needs a little bit of a help with a wealth planning map.
Yeah. And maybe
Do you know someone who does a wealth planning map?
It's called building wealth with real estate. That's right.
Yeah.
The wealth map.
So then we're like using that extra income to pay off our properties. And I'll never pay off my own property because it's a liability. I'm just paying off all my investments, because that's what's making me money, not my house.
So question, is it, I heard single families, duplexes, fiveplex. Was it 5, 3, and 1?
Yeah. Yes.
Five single families, 3 duplexes, and 1 fiveplex?
7 single families.
Okay.
3 duplexes, 1 fiveplex.
And how many of those addresses have loans?
8 of them.
Okay, so you have 11 properties, and 8 of them have, have
we're 7
loans.
7 of them.
Okay, so there's something called the velocity of money, right? And so in your tax return, and for all the listeners, he's got amortization on his tax return for 7 of the 11 properties, and you have depreciation on your tax return for 11 of the 11 properties.
Yes.
And one of the things that you're 31 now, right?
Yep.
So as you will grow over time, what you'll learn is as you begin to manage that debt, amortization is an expense.
Yeah.
That will help you also from a financial perspective with buying more properties and not using your own funds. And then your own funds there's two rules in real estate that you most oftentimes don't want to debate: location and OPM, other people's money. And so I want all the listeners to hear what he just said. He did 18 doors in 2.5 years.
Yep.
He's got 11 properties, and 7 of the 11 have mortgages. So you have an opportunity to expand, fix up your properties, raise rents, and do some tax planning even greater than what you're already doing.
Yeah.
And that's a little bit about what Kate was just mentioning with the building wealth map. So I'm curious. That's 2 income streams. So you have a real estate team income stream.
Yep.
You have a real estate holding income stream.
Yeah.
Are those under one LLC?
So I have a master LLC.
Great.
And then all my properties are in separate LLCs.
Got it. So, and you file one tax return then for the master LLC, which is less tax planning. And, that's a great accounting move. So thanks for sharing that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that's awesome. Good for you.
Yeah. And we're still flipping. I mean, I still have, I have one house that we're going to be rehabbing and putting it on the market just because I got it at a good price. I didn't plan on doing that, but I'm like, okay, we'll do that, flip it. I mean, obviously I'm taking the beating. I just went against my strategy of not flipping and having those capital gains, but I'm using that money to
do other things.
Yeah, do other things and, get more properties paid off quick.
Where did you get the money to get started?
So I started with my own money. Yeah. I still remember writing my first check for the first flip. I remember, or not writing the check, it was a wire. It was like $40,000. And I was like, Joe, we're about to just wire transfer $40,000.
You would save that in planning for something like this.
Yep, saved it. I thought about calling people, getting people involved.
Yeah.
I really didn't want to toy with other people's money. Like if it was my first investment, I wanted to do it myself and see if I mess up, now I know what I'm doing. And I was hoping to mess up because I want to learn from my mistake. We started using our own money, and it's tough, but you don't, your money is not making any money in the bank. It's just sitting there. And I think a lot of people like that comfort. They like that idea of, oh, I have that money in the bank.
Yeah.
I'm good for the next 3, 4, 5, months or years, depending on how much money's in there. But I realized like it's useless. I'd rather have assets.
Well, it's not comfortable working out physically either.
Yeah.
You can sit at home and watch TV and eat chips and root for the Steelers, right? Steeler fan here. Or you can go work out. And so if you put your money to work, it's the same thing.
Yeah.
And if you are putting your money to work, you're not comfortable. Yeah. And so you have to learn how to become comfortable doing the things that are not necessarily easy.
Yeah.
And so from a planning perspective, I'm curious. So you got a CPA.
Yep.
Obviously, mortgage and real estate planning. You've probably got pretty good control over that, having purchased 18 doors in the last 2.5 years.
Yeah.
How about estate planning?
I mean, we were probably behind.
But you have it.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then from tax planning, estate planning, mortgage and real estate planning, financial planner?
I do. Yep.
So you're a unicorn.
Yeah.
Most people don't have 4.
Yeah. So
that's pretty great.
It is.
At 31, no less.
Yeah. Well, I realized like when you are an independent contractor, 1099, obviously you're not putting money into a Roth IRA or anything. And then I learned about a SEP IRA and how much you can contribute, how much you can max it out. And I realized like, well, I give my money to the government when I can put it in the SEP IRA and have a better kind of financial future with that tax planner or with that financial advisor, excuse me. So I max it out every single year as much as I can. And typically it like varies every year. So sometimes it's like 58, sometimes 62.
Sounds to me like you have an S corporation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. So, and then also like with EXP, I have company stock and I invested so much. Like I get stock options throughout the year. But I also bought into it 5% of every deal that I've done. I buy that stock at a discounted rate and I own 11,000 shares of EXP, which it doesn't seem like a lot, but it is a lot. And I've like my company cap, like it comes back to me when I become an Icon agent. So I've gotten $16,000 or $12,000 back every year just in company stock. And that's grown tremendously. And it just sits back there and I don't do anything with it. I let it sit. I should have sold it a couple of years ago because it was like $173 a share.
And to think you almost didn't do your CE.
Yeah. Honestly.
The power that that we have as entrepreneurs in the real estate industry with the multiple income streams.
Yeah.
Not only just to be able to do that. Do you have any partners?
I don't.
You don't have
Jillian. He's got Jillian.
Yeah.
I guess,
wife.
yeah, business.
His boss.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I need to like the partner thing. I think it's more of like, and I don't want to say it in a bad way. Like, I think I'm selfish in that manner because like, I'm always worried about screwing a person. And like my relationships in this industry is so critical. And I feel that if I brought somebody on as a partner, like I feel like I might do them wrong. And not that I intend to do them wrong. It's just like the thought of doing somebody wrong, like kind of makes me nervous.
I think that mindset, we need to help him with that.
You're competitive.
Yeah.
You're a team player. You run a team. How many people are on the Danny Duvall team?
So I have 6 people.
Okay. So 6 people. Is that including you?
No.
Okay. So total of 7.
Yep.
And you've got them in their right places and they're all with their different experience levels.
Yep.
It's a trial, error, you make mistakes and try to learn. You also played football.
Yeah.
And you played football competitively at D1 level.
Yeah. Division 1 AA.
All right. So Robert Morris and then, it's the D1,
yeah,
right?
Yeah, it is.
Are there D1 like 8A schools? Kidding aside.
Yeah.
The question that I have for you is, if you played football,
Yeah.
it's a team sport.
Mm-hmm.
You run a team. And at 31 years old, the challenge to you, this is a lunch or a beer conversation for us at some point.
Yeah. I feel like it's in the making.
We're going into therapy session now.
It's a partnership. So together, everyone achieves more, right? So if you have that intrinsic desire to want to do well for others and be gracious for them and provide a platform for them to be successful, that's the definition of a partner. That's the person that you actually want.
Mm-hmm.
And so through doing that, again, that's the number 2 thing in real estate, other people's money. When you begin to partner up, it's going to be one of those things that's going to allow you to propel to the next level.
Yeah.
And I would challenge you at some point, 31, having a conversation, maybe by the time you're 33, that's 2 years from now or however many months.
Yeah.
It'd be interesting to have that conversation and see where you are at that point. I mean, we've already had, how many months ago was that? Maybe 4 months ago, 3 months ago about storage.
Yeah.
That was pretty interesting conversation.
It was, and it didn't pan out. Obviously I reassessed the situation because the partner that I was going to take on that project, and nothing towards that partner, but he has no experience in real estate whatsoever. So I kind of got nervous. And I think, I'm open to the thought of getting to that point, but
clearly,
yeah,
you were asking about it.
Yeah. So I mean, eventually, like, I think like conversations that we've had in the past, and again, like I'm a sponge, I want to absorb, like I'm always open to it. And if people are willing to help and I understand, then I'm all for it. And the team model too, like my team itself, like, yeah, I have a team. So I do have technically partners with that team, but like it was never intentional. Like I never wanted to start a team. Like it wasn't the goal at all.
A distinctive approach to passive income with luxury vacation rentals.
For more information, check out our website, quinvestors.com. So, Danny.
Yes.
What do you want to do next?
What do I want to do next? Just with life? Like,
What's the 1 year, 5 year, 10-year goal in your business?
Like I said earlier, I want to continue to purchase doors. I want to get as many doors as I can. Eventually, I want that to be like really my only stream of income.
Yeah.
Because real estate, it does put a little hurting on your body, your mind.
Residential sales, you mean?
Yeah, residential sales. I'll still sell real estate, but I just don't want to dedicate all my time and effort to it.
10 years from now, 5 years from now.
Yeah, I mean, I think when I get to 40, I mean, like I said, my goal is 50 doors, but hopefully I have 100 doors. I think that's where I'm going to want to be. Buy a couple apartment complexes and maybe do some, or tap into the Airbnb market.
We can help with that.
I know you can. I know I've looked at so many places in Florida and I was ready to pull a trigger. And fortunately I didn't because the place that I wanted got destroyed.
Yeah.
But it's a risk you take, and that's where I want to kind of go into this kind of business. And I don't know where I want to be in real estate, whether it's like a manager or to continue to have my team and operate the team, or just be an individual agent and deal with my clients at that point. But
yeah, leverage.
Yeah. 40, I'm going to slow down. So 9 more years, 8.5 more years. And
I've always said in real estate, there's only so many times you can have the same conversation, I guess, in any industry, whether you're an attorney or a doctor. Like, you get to a point where you just can't have one more conversation about whatever topic it is.
Yeah.
And we have a certain amount of time left.
Yeah.
I'm 22 years in, and I think how many years until? It's getting closer the more time that goes on.
Yeah.
And I find myself getting more excited about other avenues.
Yeah.
Like, I love what I do.
Yeah.
And this other thing that we're creating, Quinvestors, really like lights my fire.
Well, interests change, people change, you run into new relationships, you become more dynamic with your thoughts. And that's no different than just maturing as an individual and growing over time. So when you begin to learn real estate and all its nuances, and I've already heard a few things this morning that are going to be interesting to talk about off camera. But definitely it's pretty cool to watch. What's it been, 7 years? 19?
Well,
19
it'd be 11
12 years. You're going into 12 years. Yeah. Wow. Crazy.
Yeah. Well, I'm saying 11. I'm still hoping I'm 30, but now I'm progressing. 31, 32, 33.
So Gutsy Moves is what we like to ask everybody about as our guests.
Yeah.
Danny, what is your gutsiest move?
So I'm a gambling man. I like
you are.
I am. Yep. Like sports betting. I like playing craps. I like to say I'm good at shooting dice. Yeah, I'm all for it. But my gutsy move is literally just spending money in the marketing scheme of things. And I'm willing to try everything at a price. And I spent hundreds of thousands of dollars just on marketing. And for the team, for myself, I'm willing to try every avenue. And when people are on social media and they see like a little thing pop up on them, like as far as like getting leads or whatnot, I'm all for it. I will dive in there. I will put my information in there. I will call them, talk to them. I will fill them out. And sometimes I will try it out. And that's one of my things that I do thrive on, is spending money on the marketing aspect, because you have to develop the brand. And the money that you spend marketing is going to develop that brand so much more. And I think that people are nervous about spending money on themselves, especially in real estate, because I don't think they do that enough. But you really need to go all in on spending that money. And like I said, I'm a gambler, so I'm willing to spend money. And I think that's been one of my things as far as my gutsy move, is like just having faith with the process. I'm going to fail. I'm going to spend money that was wasted. I'm not going to get leads off that generation. That person sold me, whatever, but I'm willing to spend the money.
So what's the best lead generation tool that you've spent money on?
I mean, I think,
or one of the best.
Yeah. I mean, there's so many different streams of lead generation. And I know a lot of people are against the Zillow method. And I have mixed feelings about it, but I think the most amount of money I spent was on Zillow and buying zip codes. And the zip codes that I've bought, I've focused on just my area. And like we talked earlier, like you said that I know everything about Hubbard, you know everything about Salem.
Yeah.
I focused on that portion, Hubbard. And then I started branching out to surrounding zip codes. And I started marketing myself on, when you're playing on your phone or on social media or looking up anything, I started buying into where my name and my information is popping up.
Mm-hmm.
I want you to know that I'm stalking you. Like, I want you to see my name. I want you to know who I am. I want you to know what I look like, because I want to feel like a local celebrity in that matter. And I'm willing to spend the money to get to that point.
You know, the general public, most of them don't know that we buy.
Yeah.
We as realtors buy zip codes on Zillow.
Yeah.
They don't understand that at all.
No idea.
Yeah. Zillow is a for-profit model.
Yeah.
And their interest is making money by selling leads to us, realtors.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I mean, back in the day when we didn't have to have buyer agreements, I felt like it was a little bit more aggressive, where people were working with agents and then they would randomly call me or my team. We would answer the call and then they'd have a whole different experience. And we thrived on creating experience. Yeah. And there's people that, you know, you might have worked with and then I worked with them, or vice versa. But I think that was one of the strongest methods, that when we first got into the team model, was to generate, because I want the phone to ring.
Yeah. It'll be really interesting to see how that business model develops with the industry changes in our agency representation agreements and how Zillow's model has performed over the last 10 years.
Yeah. And like you question every day. When first of the month, when it comes around, I have to write that big old check, or, I'm sitting there like, am I spending too much on that? But like, Gutsy move. Like if I relieve those zip codes, I potentially lose those leads. And I don't want the phone to stop ringing, because I want my team to say, this is a good model. I like doing this. I want to do this. Right.
So what's the worst?
I think the worst, I got this thing, and I mean, I'll tell you what it is. It's called Conversion Monster.
Okay.
I don't know if you've ever heard of it.
I've not.
So basically, like you can screen, they have this service that will screen your leads. So all your calls that come through, they'll go right to that service, they'll screen it, and then they will go ahead and ask them a series of questions, and then they'll give you that lead. And I think like those leads were being touched so much and like forced questions. And then once they got to us, they were like tired. Like, I don't want to talk to you. And I thought this thing was so good. I was like, this is going to be great.
Because they were asking so many questions that it gave you a higher quality lead.
Yeah, it was like a 7-question series.
Yeah.
But then people were like, kind of like, they weren't giving as much information as they needed. And then by the time we got to them, like, it was just like, they were just over it. They're like, I just want to talk to an agent. That's my call, to buy a house, not to get questioned.
Interviewed.
Yeah. Right. Like, who's your firstborn son? Like it was like way too much.
So too much scrubbing.
Yeah, way too much. And
bad
it was like
experience.
6-month investment. And like you had to commit to it, and then like all that money, and then you're just disappointed.
Wah.
Yeah, but hey,
they're not all good out there.
Yeah, they're not all good. And at the end of the day, like if every method, it's going to be different for every area. And I think like you have to know your zip code that you're really focusing on, or zip codes, and you got to know that type of client. Like I don't sell $1 million houses every single day. I would love to. It's great, but that's not my client all the time. I feel like
it's also not your market.
Yeah, and that's like I'm dealing with the the $100,000 to $400,000 price range pretty consistently, and I'm okay with that. A volume-based game is great. When you get that
more families,
it's nice. Yeah, more families, more people, more word of mouth. I mean, that's the best investment in our business, and that. But at the end of the day, it's the volume-based game that we sell anywhere between 150 to 200 houses a year. And if we can consistently do that, I mean, it's a spider effect where you're constantly working with those people.
Yeah, that's a lot of families to help.
Yeah. Yep.
I think that the interesting part about Zillow and some of the internet abilities for agents to scale their business is that it sounds like you're doing it the right way.
Yeah.
This is my opinion.
Yeah.
That you stay in the area that you know. You might know more than one area, and that's fine, but it's probably not appropriate for you to go buy a Zillow zip code in Cleveland.
Yeah. No.
The complexity of the market in each different place is so different.
Yeah.
They have different inspections. They have different time frames. The cities have different rules. We don't know those.
Yep.
So if there's any advice I could give to any agents out there listening, it's what you're doing. Stay in your market and with what you know.
Yeah. Yeah. And you want to
start there.
Yeah. I want to be out here in Salem, but it's hard to be consistently out here.
Yeah.
And the people like yourself that are constantly here, your roots are here, like that is your market. But there's always going to be those little stragglers that come to me, and I'll show them houses in Salem and work with them.
Ooh, like that one time. Can I tell this story?
Go ahead. Tell whatever story.
Danny had a listing in Salem that I sold, and his sign was there. And I went to go give the lady her keys, and his sign was still there. And I remember this. I said, do you want me to pick up your sign for you? Yeah. I could take it to our Camfield office, and then you wouldn't have to come so far.
Yeah.
Do you remember this? Yeah. So I did. So I took your sign to our Camfield office, and I set it next to the building outside. And I did this group text to our office manager and to you, and I think my assistant, and said, hey, I got Danny's sign, and it's laying up against your EXP sign is at our Keller Williams' office.
Yeah.
Don't throw it away. Danny's coming to get it.
Yeah.
And then Danny said something like, just please don't draw a penis on my face.
Yeah.
Yeah, you better get it fast is basically what our office manager said.
Oh, yeah. I was there within an hour.
Rising tides floats all boats.
Yes, that's
Play
how
nice.
we work together.
Hey, it's a great marketing campaign. If you draw that penis, I might get a surplus of people reaching out to me.
That's true. It is snap-worthy.
It is. I know. I have signs all over the place, and I always wonder, like, when are my friends going to draw on them?
Yeah.
And there's some big signs with my face just popped in Hubbard. I'm like, and they're easy to get to, and no one has done it yet.
I have some that have gone missing, and I'm convinced I'm in someone's basement out there.
Yeah. Yeah. I had somebody
Held
run it over.
hostage.
There was a footage of somebody running it over with a 4-wheeler.
Oh, no.
And I knew who it was. And I called him. I said, thanks for running over my son. He goes, no problem. It was fun. I'm like, you son of a gun.
Oh, next.
Yeah, it is what it is. It's another write-off, 5 more signs.
That's right.
Yeah.